Hi, everyone. All right, so today's Friday and you have no test. You're going to be watching this video of us going over Chapter 13. Now, Chapter 13 was pretty short. It was only 3 pages and it included a big picture. So I think you guys should have got this. It does still require a lot of thinking and thought about text to like the world connections. All right. So let's get going. I'm going to share my screen with you. Let me get it up real quick for Friday. All right. Hold on. I just need to share the screen. There we go. Here we go, Friday. All right, so the first word says, or this word for vocabulary says celebrity. And I immediately thought, okay, a celebrity is a famous person. So I put down famous person. And then when I went and looked at it up on Google Dictionary, it was also the exact words were a famous person. All right, so I think we all know what a celebrity is. So it's a famous person. All right, clear that. And we go to the next one. Let's see if I can make it a little bit more. There we go. All right. After all the attention he received, do you think Nick will change? So we're going to correct this sentence and then we're going to find the noun and the nouns and the verbs. So first of all, you have to capitalize the beginning of a sentence. After all the attention he received, do you think Nick is a proper noun, will change? And that is a question mark. To be honest, I don't think he will. But after all so now we have to find the nouns. After all the attention, yes, attention is, I'm going to circle it, that is a noun. Attention is a thing. He received, do you think Nick is a noun, will change? All right, so now we have to do our verbs, box of our verbs. After all the attention, I forgot a word, he is also a noun. Remember, it is a pronoun, so you still need to circle he. All right, received, that is something he is receiving, he received attention, so that is a verb. Do is a verb. You think is a verb. Will change. These are all verbs, things that people do. All right, good job, you guys. Now let's do the next one. Whenever I drop a stone in the water, the surface of the water ripples. So you drop one stone and then it goes out and out and out and out and it shows a ripple. All right, and this is sort of like the theme of this chapter was ripples. It was called a ripple because it talked about how Nick was like the stone and it dropped into the water. He didn't really drop into the water, but he was like the stone that started Frindle, the word Frindle. And then kids at a school started saying it, and then more kids. And then it went to the high school, and then it went to other states. And it keeps on growing and growing, and now it's even going to other countries like Japan and Europe. So, you guys, he's like the ripple. He's like a little stone, and then it rippled out bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what this whole chapter was explaining, how even though in his town, it was starting to die down and people were still using the word Frindle for pen, but it wasn't as much as a hype. People weren't talking about it all the time. And it was old news, basically. But because it goes out and out and out, it finally reached other countries and it was new to them. So that's what talking like it was a ripple. So whenever needs to be capitalized, I need to be capitalized. Always capitalize I. And a period at the end. Now we need to find the nouns. Whenever I is a noun. It is a pronoun. Whenever I drop a stone is a noun. Water is a noun. The surface, so surface is a noun. It's a place of the water. Water is a noun. It's a thing. Now, verbs are actions or that shows someone's doing something. Drop is an action, so that is a verb. A stone into the water. The surface of the water ripples. And that is another action, you guys. So there is the verbs. All right, I'm going to clear that off and go to our next one, our context clues. So you have to think about the sentence and what's going on in the sentence. Read the sentence. The new line of Frindles imported from Japan were a big hit, and now there was talking now. I was sure now there was. Oh, sorry, I'm reading it wrong. This is why you always go back and reread it if you don't understand it, which we've talked about in class. The new line of Frindles imported from Japan were a big hit, and now there was talk of selling them in Japan and Europe as well. So you know Bud Lawrence is selling things, and even though he may not be as popular as he was in Westfield from the beginning, he's now selling it to other countries and other states because they're just learning about the word Frindle because it's traveling. So what does that word imported mean? Well, imported means, you know, it comes from Japan. So it's coming from Japan, and then they were going to actually start selling it in Japan and in Europe. It's coming to them from Japan. So that means it comes to them. So it would definitely be delivered to, brought in. Sorry, they're not delivering it to Japan. It's coming in from Japan. That word from Japan. So it would be brought in. Japan is delivering it to, so it would be Japan's export. Japan exports it to them in Westfield. But so for Westfield, it is import means to bring in. They bring it in from Japan. All right, so they brought it in. B. Identify the phrase from the text that helped you identify the meaning of the word imported. That would be from Japan. So they're coming from Japan. That's why it's right next to it. And then it sounds like they're going to turn around and then go sell it back to Japan, which is sort of funny. But yeah, from Japan means they're bringing it in. All right, figurative language. So this is a metaphor. Read the sentence from the text. The new lines of Frindles from Japan were a big hit. So they were saying like a big hit, like a simile. They were saying they were a big hit. So the Frindles were a big hit. So they're comparing two things that are not alike without using the words like as. So Frindles were a big hit. So does it mean they're actually hitting them? No. So it's not physically striking someone and to hit a home run. Remember, the Frindles were a pin, and they were a big hit. So that means they were very popular. So, yes, it wasn't a bad decision. They were very popular. That means big hit, like, wow. So that's also what a big hit can mean when someone says that. So a big hit means they were popular. Explain how you were able to determine the meaning of the metaphor in item 5. Well, I was able to determine the meaning of the metaphor, and I'm going to write this out because, well, if you think about what's going on, why were they big? They're selling these Frindles to other countries, and they're coming in from other countries. So because the Frindles were being sold and imported in from Japan, this shows that it is a popular item. They're being sold. It's a big hit, so it's being sold. So that's why you have to really stop and think about what is going on in the text. All right, you guys, let's start the next one. I'm going to go down. I'm going to clear this off. Start it. Here we go. All right, consider the title ripples. And we just talked about this before. Explain why the author chose to entitle his chapter Ripples. Use information from the text to support your reference. So why did he call it ripples? Because remember, ripples start off with a small stone and get bigger and bigger. And just like Nick started off calling the word Frindle, and it spread to people and more people and more people and more people, and eventually it went to other countries. And that's why Bud Lawrence is making so much money. Even though where it originally started, it's not as popular as it was before. It's not big news anymore because it's old news. It's becoming big news to other places because it's getting bigger and bigger. Just like a ripple starts off small and gets bigger and bigger in the water. So there you go. And I use text evidence to talk about Bud Lawrence. I talk about Bud Lawrence and how he's making money, and that's how you know it's getting bigger and bigger. So how are these two compared? The author used the word ripple, or titled, not used, I would say titled chapter ripples, not riddles, ripples, ripples, because a ripple starts with a stone in the water that causes small waves that get bigger and bigger. This is just like Nick starting, he's like a stone, the word and now it has grown to other cities, states, and countries for kids to use. It's gone bigger, bigger, bigger. Started in their city and got bigger, 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 bigger. All right, let's do the next one. What evidence does the narrator provide to show that Mrs. Granger and the students hadn't completely given up on the Frindle fight? So like I said, it's old news. It's not as popular as it was before, but people are still using the word Frindle, and this shows that they're not giving up on it, that the kids are still wanting to say the word Frindle, even though it's not like they're not talking about it as much anymore, and not saying the word pin, because the author, the narrator, tells us that every kid still gets at least one question wrong on the spelling test, because the first word is always pin, and the kids are still spelling it Frindle, spelling it Frindle. So that's how we know, and that is on page 87, the last page of the chapter. If you need to go back and look, you should always go back and look. All right, so what evidence supports this? Mrs. Granger or gives, how about gives? Mrs. Granger gives the word in on the spelling test every week. However, the students get it wrong because they spell it, I'm going to put in the capital letters, Frindle and not PEN. This shows they are not giving up on using the word Frindle as a for pen. Even though it's, like I said, not very popular anymore, they're not talking about, they're still using the word Frindle, because it's not new news, it's old news, and that's what they're doing now. It's become normal to use the word Frindle. All right, let's go ahead and clear this off, into the last two. What impact does the illustration on page 86 have on the story? So this is the page, and on the page 85, it explained that Westfield was happy, was proud of that the word Frindle came from them because it got so big. So they wanted to put down on their city sign that says "Welcome to Westfield," that it's home of the original Frindle. That's where the words Frindle started. So they're so proud of that. So let's read. An illustration shows the city of Westfield is proud to be the home of Frindle. Yeah, that's what it's showing. So I'm going to circle that one. I'm going to read the other ones just in case. But that is what it's showing. It shows that they put on their sign. It's showing the sign of Westfield and how they're proud that it came from them. Because you wouldn't put that on your welcome sign if you weren't proud of it. You would leave it off. The illustration shows just how Frindle mania began. No. The illustration demonstrates the residents of Westfield are tired of Frindle. No. If they were tired of Frindle, they wouldn't have had it on that picture. It shows that they're very proud of it. They wouldn't advertise it if they weren't. The illustration demonstrates how excited all the students are about Frindle. There's no students in that. It's just the sign for the city. So it is definitely A. All right, you guys, this next one is a you question. What do you think? If you were Nick, what would be your next big idea? All right, so this is a you question. What would be your next big idea? If you were Nick, what would you create? What would you do? Would you create anything? Or would you do something else? What would be your big idea? You tell me, and that is going to be your bonus question for today, for Friday. So make sure you get it in before our meeting this afternoon. All right, you guys, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to tell you a joke. All right, here's our joke. If a seagull flies over the sea, so a seagull flies over the sea, what flies over the bay? What would fly over a bay? A bagel! All right, you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.